tunanuka gode. Sinaga breaks, bidi zangu ni za kope. Wanna chase fame, mimi niko busy na kichele. Pake kwa wingi sinilete vitimbi, kijana kwa mashida na nafuga bado tambi. Jicho nyanya kwa street nafuga dhambi. Wanapumua deli na roma ya bangi. Nalenga tenje juu calls ningi mwere. Si tuko busy dao tukisaka maganji. Mbogi ni genje na tuna spin senke. Kijana karada hakuta tukwa tenje. Dada lifisa batu kicheki sanse. Route number 8 ni kuzitoka teke. Top shot awe ni boy wa hood. But tukimit wrong turn I'm still the goon. Pigwa mabare uko na namba ngapi. Juriba za ubeshte lishi ya madhari. Walai, mina kutoa uhai. Hakuna kesi triki kamrazi ya medai. Sinaga dafa, shoni kanje nitoke. Bado tena umengedhia ni kupige karima. Nasikia fiti, hima lime ni nice. Ile psych niko nayo, walai siwezi tema. Bado unateta na ujafikisha bei. Ni vile na kujua baleo usishiki deni. Hizo ni story gani unanipigisha ngeli na uko mbele ya hii jeshi. Nadai wo, kijana udai kifo. Uoni nimejipinda ndani ya toja na mchuma. Mrazi genje na sijafuga rasta. Banikishika my cocktail ni haraka. Punguza pupa hapa ndanya ni wengi. Usichague sura mali safi sini haga. Yo, mali safi sini, mali safi sini, mali safi sini haga.
Mimi natika road sihitaji all soaps ndo ningare. Kenye nahitaji tu ni pesa. Sikuzaliwa coast but mother kaka ganji mumsho. Mam shika moka. Shughuli ni apake kama Idi Amin nimeifanya for long ndo nishapenisi na kila youth mtani ashakuwa referee. Mbona juu ya vile tuko kadi squeeze silali na kimbiza life new dream. Super liuliza what happens if I dive in. Nikam show let's find out, let me dive in. After kudive alisema wezi paki celebrate. Kenye najua hata na busy laundry pekee ni enough kuwaprovia vile nitafua dafu. Poa alisema Kenya mbeba maji ndo to make work easier ni mchapie kwa bafu. Cold boy call palma tapusho. Mini karufu ya mnyambo juu ni ngumu kunigno. Hata bila kamera bado nita GoPro. Weni mjanja kao ready ushapicha vizia wani party. Juu hiyo shughuli kasi ya ganji si inzagi rap. Nika kesho neza dedi ya ukosekani kwangu hii rap. Ushakuwa my normal 9 to 5.
Acha sana wapatie uhondo. Siweka ngoma zenyu tukidai kusikia uongo. That's normal. They said you must pay for your sins but jail pia ngono. Wezi cheza place tuko. Igavaisha ni stress. Sipendi jo vile kuko. Ganji shaibiwa before tenge kwa mfuko. Tani nge kuwa mkale bado singe kipruto. Hatuwezi kuwa same. You don't get it. Jumisi wezi rudi home if I don't make it. Bro kuna mali mine na namsichana petit. Super just want that thing, we're not dating. Yo so nasaka yangu. Sikombi shit. Chunga yo mdomo juneza go missing. Easy streets ni cold. So cold. Ato kienda you won't be missing. Gani itakuja kwanza kumake it ama kumake it. Nilisema nko west. Mafala kadhani westi. Walitinga milango na bado tuliget in. Mablogger wameshinda hata waluya kuget keep. Trust me shughuli siu piga siya wengi. Dumo umejaza lakini akili uko empty. Kiburi umejaza.
Family, hope you guys are doing amazing and happy Friday. Hope your week has been fantastic and wishing you a beautiful weekend ahead. It's exactly 46 minutes past the top of the hour. And of course, karibuni sana to yet another beautiful conversation of the Pan-African Bliss. My name is Joby. Once again, happy Friday. And karibuni as we talk about who actually is considered as a threat when it comes to Africa politics. And of course, this conversation is going to be backed by so many things happening, of course, across the continent, starting of course off with Kenya, where we can see the president of Kenya is trying to defend his reasons of going back to the World Bank and the IMF, which is bluntly quite honest, you know, the conditions that comes with the IMF. And of course, on Wednesday, I did cover this as a whole topic, literally talking about how we can see countries like Sudan being debt relieved by China, that is having $50 million being relieved of their debt. And of course, on the other hand, we saw Kenya receiving 97 billion Kenyan shillings, and this is to improve, of course, or tackle corruption and so many other things that it's not really exactly what Ruto is saying. It's not exactly what should be dealt with in the country. So karibuni sana, those are our top conversation for starters. And of course, we have this amazing lady who I love her videos explaining. Every time, of course, you see your African puppets working with the white people. And I go back to one of the famous quoted by one of our Pan-Africanists. If you see a white man praising me, know that I've actually betrayed you or done you people wrong. And of course, looking at so much of that, also, we're going to be looking at Nigeria, which is actually, of course, boosting its security. This is, of course, when they are working together with a country like Benin and Niger, which I don't trust Nigeria, because I do feel like this is a way of them getting into the Alliance Sahel state. And I'll explain even much more why, which we can see the ICC, which I left pending yesterday, they are saying that they do not, or they're criticizing Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali walking out of their fake organization. And much more of this conversation, we're going to be looking at how Burkina Faso is developing, and so much more coming from also Kenya, as we understand how we're still paying pensions and why are we still paying pensions, because I had to do so much research on that. And of course, it's actually very true. Yes, Kenyan taxpayers still contribute to the pensions of the British civil servants, and in general, we should say our colonizers. So we're still slaves till to date. And I have this video which is actually backed, of course, with that conversation. Shout out to Keith, he shared this with me. I do believe this is where racism applies, but in a very indirect way. And of course, those are our top conversations for today. Pardon my voice. Away from playing a certain game, which you guys, we're going to be uploading it on our TikTok, just a Blackout Fire Network trio. And that's why I lost my voice, because of laughing so much and running. We were trying to do something to keep our TikTok page active. But remember, you can grab yourself also the application on the Google Play Store in case you want to, of course, catch up on all our social platforms. Damn, that was a lot of running, a lot of laughing. We're from doing that game, eating challenge, and it was really just super fun. That's why I'm a little bit late, but it's a good thing to see what we can actually do, and you're gonna see it on our TikTok page on Blackout Fire Network. So stay tuned, or rather follow us there. Remember, we have amazing supplements which you can grab under the Blackout Fire Network. We have an apparel store where you can get your merchandise. On that video, you're gonna see Shmani rocking our t-shirts. We have different t-shirts in different colors and sizes, so in case you are a small person or a large person, whichever size you like, we have all of them right there. But as we start today's conversation, I don't, of course, share much more of that. You guys know I keep on sharing about our supplements every day. Without wasting much more of the time, let's start with Kenya, looking at how, or what our president had to say when it comes to borrowing off money.
President William Ruto has revealed that securing loans from external lenders is becoming increasingly difficult. According to the head of state, lenders often subject African countries to conditions including the passage of sexuality laws before approving the loans they require. Stanley Nyaringita reports on Africa's call for increased investment in homegrown financial institutions.
In remarks that have renewed calls for African countries to reduce their reliance on foreign borrowing, President William Ruto has revealed that external loans often come with conditions that have little to do with development.
It is easy. Actually, it's not easy. It is difficult to go borrowing money from people. They subject you to all manner of things. You know, do this, go and pass this law. How about those things? What are those ones called? You go and pass the sexuality laws. Go.
So when I was looking at this video on TikTok, because this is on YouTube, but when I was looking at the video, this one specifically on TikTok, and looking at the comment section of Kenyans, they were saying that this man is clearly exposing himself, that when it comes to the finance bill, when it comes to the decisions that are affecting the Kenyans who are the majority and make up a country, these decisions don't come from him, which I did do all this discussion on Wednesday, and we've covered, of course, so many stories looking at how the debt trap, how it has kept Africa literally so underdeveloped. We are consistently borrowing, yet we don't see the benefits of this money we keep on borrowing, which we have to pay back on a very high interest. So he's clearly telling you openly, literally exposing himself and exposing the World Bank, which I don't think it's something new. Of course, the information is so out there. But when you see a puppet actually, of course, talking about it, this is not us now to clap, oh, Ruto is realizing or coming back to his thoughts. No, it's not. It goes back to the real question, or the real way forward should be, what are you willing to do about it? Since you understand these loans comes with terms and conditions that don't actually have anything to help your country develop or help your people in any sort of way for them to grow, or your country to grow economically, why do you still keep on going back? And we understand, of course, very much why they have to keep on going back. We know, and I've been talking about the stories of Ruto. Ruto is scared because if he doesn't do the bidding, he's gonna go to jail. That is just the whole thing. So this white people, this system, the way it has been kept, and looking at actually now, looking at what we're talking about, the pensions, you know, where Kenyans are still paying pensions. Or, you know, why are we paying pensions to people who already left and we are free? That's why independency should be questioned again. Are we really independent? That's why democracy should be questioned again. And sovereignty, and all those terms they keep on using, which we don't see them applying when it comes to the real factors or the real matters. It tells you very clear they have to keep up with this system of always having puppets who have done especially something wrong in their country politically. They have to be kept in power, whether as a president or whichever position, because if you don't do this, understand the system is not set up to favor you. It's set up to go against you, which will go back to now the International Criminal Court, which is part of our conversation as well. We can see countries which have truly now trying to free themselves, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. They remove themselves from this organization. And they don't need to actually explain why, because I think we've also talked and understood why the International Criminal Court, or who the International Criminal Court it was built for. Again, Africa, we're not free. So this should not be a round of applause. It's just that now people are, you're confirming to Kenyans what they have been long saying and what they went to the street for, especially in 2024, because the 2024 demonstration, which we can see the effect of it till to date, Kenyans were very aware and calling out the IMF and the World Bank for always writing or hiking up these taxes on us, just because we have someone on the forefront who consistently keeps taking money, which we don't see the development of. So you're just confirming to Kenyans. That's what I'm trying to say. You're just confirming. Because we long said it. Kenyans said it. They called you out, told you about it. But no, people are sounding crazy. Oh, how dare you question the IMF? Nah. You are just confirming what people have been long saying. So there's nothing to, round of applause to Ruto, no.
Go and do this, go and do this.
While hosting delegates attending the 26th Annual General Meeting of the African Trade and Investment Development Insurance, ATD, at State House, Nairobi, Ruto further underscored ATD's role in supporting more than $7 billion in investments across Kenya's energy, transport, manufacturing, agriculture, and trade sectors.
African countries can achieve when they work together with a common purpose and shared ambition.
But that's not the goal. You know, it's crazy how they talk, but that's not the goal. It's not. This is our national treasury. The same person who was busy defending why or how they have reduced taxes when it comes to importation or exportation, which we saw it's all a bunch of bullshit. Just twisted words or languages to sound intelligent, but it's not. So, nah.
And this Silver Jubilee therefore gives us an opportunity not only to celebrate institutional progress, but also to reflect on the partnership, trust, and collective commitment that have sustained ATD's journey over the years.
We have seen you in action in all the forums, either at the African Union, at the United Nations, and any forum in TICAD, everywhere you are advocating for our institutions to say African financial institutions need to be supported, and you are leading from the front.
President William Ruto also pledged to allocate land to the institution for the establishment of its headquarters in Kenya, in a move aimed at positioning Nairobi as a continental hub for trade and investment. African trade leaders are now calling on more countries to join the institution, which currently has 24 member states, in a bid to boost investment and deepen economic integration across the continent. Stanley Nyeringita, TV47.
Well, just some talks, but they're not willing to change anything when it comes to that system. Now, listen to this lady. She's saying the same thing, of course, I've been saying. The same thing we know, literally, when it comes to these puppets and the IMF and the World Bank. Let me actually recue it again.
If you know the IMF and the World Bank, and you know that if they are friendly with your president, if they work with him hand in hand, if whatever crimes he commits, they will support. In fact, they'll bring truth and reconciliation commissions. They will try to create a government of handshake and even ban him from the ICCC and make sure that he is covered. Even if he kills people, even if he takes that as a stolen election, even if he kills his own people post the election and Mukiki and covering them up, and including assassination, the alleged assassinations of the people who tried to uncover those crimes. That person is not William Ruto. The biggest ally and friend of the IMF World Bank was Mwai Kibaki. That is why even the PR right now, if you enter even on your AI issues of Kibaki, they'll tell you he stabilized the economic growth. That is a sugar high. That you have to grow like that exponentially so that now everybody can enter, create more shops than workshops, create more private schools, and because they were not constructing the public ones, create more private hospitals. That is what you are calling growth. Not growth for the Kenyans, it was growth for the businesses because they want that stable economy. And that is what Kibaki brought, the dulling of the IMF and World Bank. If you are a Kenyan today, who is against William Ruto? Who has protested the IMF World Bank? If you have gone and you have said, oh, our children are dying, they are being killed by this government, this Ruto is a killer. There has been a bigger killer of the people who oppose him. There has been a bigger friend of the IMF World Bank than Ruto, and that person is Mwai Kibaki. In fact, the measure of a collaborator, the measure of an enemy of the people, the measure of a black colonialist is the ability to be loved by the West. We know that for a fact. Hii ni kitu munasemanga, hamkuwa mnajua iko hapo. That is the biggest friend the West has ever had, Kibaki. They hated Moi, they choked his government, they forced, and Moi refused, fought step by step. I'm not supporting Moi. Moi was also another tyranny. But he didn't sell our country. He refused. So,
well, I'd say I get what she was saying or she's saying, but I slightly, okay? Don't get me wrong. Don't come for me. But slightly disagree with her. Because the difference we see now when it comes to, I get what she's saying. But the difference we see now with Kibaki and these other puppets, there's a bigger gap. There's a bigger gap. And when Africans or Kenyans, to be specific, when we're addressing the IMF and the World Bank or debts in general, yes, Kibaki, of course, went to the IMF. He's not innocent. He's not innocent. Of course, he went back to the World Bank and asked for money repeatedly. If I can remember clearly, I was young to understand a lot, but there were always debt crisis reports going on in this country because during the time of an era of Kibaki. But what's the difference? What am I trying to say? The difference between him and the current puppets, including Uhuru Kenyatta and the current one we have. The difference is this man tried, at least. I get what she's saying because there's something she's trying to say, but he brought development. He tried to improve this country. And that is what I'd say actually we're still living on till to date. When you talk about Thika Road or Thika Superhighway, Kibaki is the one who brought that development. If we take you back years before Mwai Kibaki, Thika Road was such a shitty road. Such a mess. But this man took a loan, not the right way, because we do have, of course, resources we can depend on. You know, we do have, but we can't do this if we're not, again, of course, we don't have manufacturing or processing company, all this. We don't have industrial companies. He ensured at least this country developed in the slightest way he could. This man brought free system of education that has educated the generation of today. And that's why you can see people understand the reasons of going to the streets, the constitution, what democracy should be, how it should be practiced. He brought a system of education that educated so many people. Yeah, Moi did, Moi that, Moi, he was not a good person. But what did Moi do for all those 24 years of him being a dictator? Because that's what he was. Nothing. Moi didn't improve the lives of this country. He didn't in any sort of way. The only thing actually personally I heard from my mom and maybe my stepmom, like the older generation, literally, our parents, they used to say that Moi provided only milk in school. I don't want to drink milk every day. I'm not a cat. I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, now I'm lactose intolerant. So no, I'm not. I don't want to drink milk every day. No. You can't bring milk to school and say that is how what have you improved? What improvement? So no, I slightly disagree with her. I do personally, and I keep on saying Moi Kibaki brought a lot of changes in Kenya that Kenyans are actually dependent on till to date, and which you can see now the current government is scrapping away all this, all of it. But I do not agree with, disagree with that, but I slightly disagree.
I'm not irritated by Kikuyus. I'm just amazed by the level of hypocrisy. If you have been on the street, it is just June. People were here protesting, talking about the bloodbath. There has never been a bigger bloodbath by civilians for civilians than under Kibaki.
It's true. It's true. Because I think also, I feel like we have to be smart enough. And that's what I was saying yesterday. Yes, the internet has become a place of so many opinions. Yeah, you can give opinions on anything, but we have to be very critical about what we're also saying. You have to understand you're talking to a very large group of people. This lady has a lot of audience, a lot of people she's educating. And I love her videos. But you have to go back and understand, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Mwai Kibaki was tribal. As a matter of fact, because it goes back to history, of course, it's written and known, and which is about to repeat itself come next year, because they're trying to push tribalism, but that's not really it, because the generation of today is more educated to understand what tribalism is and how it doesn't benefit us in any sort of way. And Kenya, to be specific, and I'm not saying also at a large number, but the Gen Zs, man, I'm speaking about my generation. My generation is the generation where I don't have to walk in a room and someone is asking me, which tribe are you? The only time I get that question is because people can't figure out, with all my 3 names, which tribe am I from? They can't tell. I don't have no, because there are people who, when they naturally talk, you can tell where they're just from, When a Kikuyu talks like this lady, we know Kikuyus, I'm sorry to say. And there's nothing tribal towards it. When a Luo talks, you'll know this is a Luo. Like, sorry to use, but Shmani, there's how she twists language. There's how sometimes she'll twist Swahili, and you can tell, man, girl, you really are a Kisumu girl, There are people, they're Kalenjin, when they talk like Ruto, you'll know this is a Kalenjin. When a Masai talks, you'll know this is a Masai. We are the generation which has grown up understanding, and I think I keep on saying this, we've seen the effect of this within our parents, our older millennial generation, or folks or friends. We've seen the effect of tribalism in 2007. So many people were killed, lost their lives because of being described Kikuyu or Luo. To the point till to date, we still have that effect, but only because of the old generation that was affected by this and still has that fear in them. There are places when you go, it's only Luos. They're actually separated from the Kikuyus. Literally, where I grew up, there's just only a place of Luos only. And if you find maybe some other tribes there, they're also living in fear. Because during the 2007 election, people could not pass a certain place. Your head is chopped. It was literally machetes and a lot of killings. If you look at the history of 2007 in Kenya. So what you need to understand is that, and now going back to Kibaki, what education did to us is not only educate us, but to understand how tribalism or how bad it is. Today, that's no more. That's why you can see the youths are standing up boldly, telling people like Gashagwa or whoever, you're not going to hear address us about the differences between who and so and so. When I wake up at night and something is disturbing me, I'm going to go to my neighbor for them to take me to the hospital. I'm not going to die there, oh, because this is a Kikuyu. Oh my God, I cannot talk to a Kikuyu. Oh my God. No. So you need to understand that and understand which generation she's coming from. So that's why I think she's quoting that too. But
yeah, is very good for him. The media cannot mention, because also the media benefited off that. They've never had good days than under Kibaki, because they could sell whatever they could. They could push the narratives of the corporate entities as much as they could. They were getting the money from all the banks and loans, banks that had been financed through our money, through all these development projects, empowerment projects. There is no need to dig yourself in a deeper hole. Go look at the word economics. It has never worked. It never will. Kibaki was a London-educated neoliberal. His policies are the reasons. They are less than 10 years old. They are the reason we are in this mess we are in today. Uhuru Kenyatta continued with that, the World Bank, and so did William Ruto. That is why they so little of William Ruto to sell, to offset. Now they are just changing and rebranding whatever was there. But all of it was laid down, was sold. We were driven out of our country. The laws, talk of land, when you talked of Solai, I brought it here. People were busy saying, oh, it's Uhuru, it's Ruto. That was policy under Kibaki. If you talk of the Chinese and the trade, he's the one who invited them. Ni yeye aliwakaribisha huku, akawapatia hizi. If you are talking about law, healthcare, about education, about that is Kibaki. These are the policies under Kibaki. If you are talking of the entrepreneurs and how the government people have become rich, how the government doesn't offer services, how the government is able to get money from public to private, that is Kibaki. If you're talking about the corruption of the MPs, why we no longer have a functioning opposition? How comes they have so much money, the illegal and CTF and all these monies? That is Kibaki. If you're talking about how they stole our healthcare, how now education is so expensive and universities and all this, and we can't afford it, and now people are being imported and all that. So that is Kibaki. If you're crying about the rising rates of land, why foreigners are able to come in and own huge chunks of land, why we even have historical land cases that have never been handled, how title deeds have become political weapons that can be done and dish. Kibaki had that data and he varied that information. That is Kibaki.
no, it's not. No, it's not. Again, history is very important. No, it's not. This country was long sold, and I'll go back to still her video because it's crazy. She's saying this, but on the next video I'm about to share, she well explains and describes how not only the healthcare, because she mentioned about the healthcare. Again, Keith shared this video with me, and I picked a lot of information from this video. You know, because she's addressing the racism and literally generally the system, how it is. So if you the land grabbing, the land selling to the Chinese, to the Indians, we can still see. So if you want to say the effect of Indians today, how we can see them being given companies or claiming companies every now and then from different parts of a country or counties, blame Jomo Kenyatta. Because this issue does not start with Kibaki. We have to go back again to our fake independence history. What were the deals? And this is why I keep on understanding. We have to understand what was written on those papers that this president signed in the whole African continent to buy freedom. Because it's like we bought freedom. and we were not fully given freedom. We bought it. We had to give something for our freedom. And we can see the effect of it today. So I disagree with you for saying this is... No, it's nothing to do with Kibaki. Kibaki just continued with a system. I'm not even defending... I don't know, I feel like I'm defending Kibaki, but it's because she's trying to say most of the effects we're seeing today when it comes to tribalism, whatever, this has been long effective even before Kibaki. It's been there. It's been happening. It's been happening. And that's why he's the only person who tried to change that by bringing free system of education, creating a few developments here and there. We can't just scrap that away. And maybe you might not understand because you're not the generation that benefited, but the generation that benefited of Kibaki's regime does get it. For real, for real. So no, it's not Kibaki. It goes all the way back to our first president.
So, fuck off.
Okay.
Fuck off. This is, I said it will feel tribal, but it's not. At the same time, when people are talking like that, the reason coffee farmers, tea farmers, all sorts of farmers are getting poorer and poorer and poorer is because he opened the market. You could say you'd be rejected by Kikuis, but how many have these banks? How many are the ones who got the empowerment funds? How many have these boutiques?
Because of Jomo Kenyatta. It's not Kibaki. Someone make this lady understand it's not Jomo Kenyatta. I mean, it's not Kibaki. It's Jomo Kenyatta. All these problems start with, let's go to Mau Mau. Go back to the history of Mau Mau. Understand who are the Mau Mau freedom fighters. And now where we have, of course, Jomo Kenyatta coming in, being portrayed as a fake Mau Mau fighter who claimed or helped fight for independence in this country. Yet the real history, well understood and known, we know this man completely sold out the Mau Mau people. This is what tribalism started with all this. Because the Mau Mau freedom fighters were not just only the Kikuyus, not just only the Kikuyus. Majority, yeah, were the Kikuyu, but it didn't just comprise of the Kikuyu only. So no. Let me actually just shift away from this. Let me share this one now, where she talks about the system. Because if she understands the system this well, I don't understand why she's not getting this all effect we have today in the African continent starts off from our very first puppet. The people who made an agreement with these colonizers by signing some pieces of papers or whatever, getting a glass of wine and some library. It started off there. The rest have just continued, either making the countries worse, of course, by following what the white man tells them. If you don't do it, you might end up behind bars. So no.
Unlike most other African nations, racism in Kenya is as normal as the air we breathe. We don't even know we are experiencing racism because racism in Kenya has a different flavor known as structural racism.
Thank you. You understand? From there, she explained it very well. Structural racism. Structural.
It is managed and instituted in every aspect of our lives. That as we speak, as we breathe, as we enjoy this country where we have lived, we are now living in limbo, where services get worse and worse and worse. We have specific racial elements that have captured the state from the time of colonial capture.
So why go back? Because the other video I just shared actually is just a few hours done. This video I'm sharing that Keith shared, I think it's of last month, 23rd. But the video I'm just from sharing, this other one, it's 21 hours ago, done or posted. So if you understand this, that the system starts from way back when we had our fake independency. Why would you still come back and say the third president of our country is the main reason why we have tribalism? The third president of our country is the main reason why Kenya can never stop borrowing. I don't know if I'm making sense of what she's trying to say, because I heavily disagree with her past video. I do. I've understood so much for someone to just, listen to someone who just put a phone like this on the face and they decided to tell me some goddamn lies. No. If you understand this, you should know the issue of tribalism, the land grabbing, the land selling, coffee, tea management. This was from the word go. So we go back. What was written in these pieces of papers that these Negroes signed a glass of wine and a library for? That's where the problem starts.
So that today it is now normalized, so that when the rest of the Kenyan body, the Kenyan society is suffering, is struggling in unity, these communities, these racial elements continue to thrive. They find a way to go on and thrive and do better, or even diversify and change and put on another color. But the African continues to go lower and lower. We are now financialized. We are so deindustrialized. We are consumers. We are no longer producers. We seem to even be going through the education that is now conflating traders, shopkeepers and brokers with producers, calling them entrepreneurs. And therefore, let us look at racism in Kenya, specifically what is known as structural racism, to understand how the Kenyan is stolen from in three ways. One, through the brokers. The brokers who have come to make Kenya a productive zone, they take the value and go process it elsewhere. These are individuals and multinationals who use our soil, our people, our labor, everything, take our raw materials and say they have to process it and add value elsewhere. So coffee, multinationals, all these people, tea, everything we talked about last week when we are looking at trade. So we have brokers and traders. We have then the other category of now the traders who have majority become the gateway of cheap products and other things. But in this case, they were used, especially the Indian, the Asian community, and the Arab, to become the intermediaries of allowing their processed foods to come to Kenya and compete, particularly before the Kenyan markets was opened under the structural adjustment programs, also instituted by the West, so that now multinationals and everybody can come. And that saw the quick deindustrialization of the Kenyan economy, particularly under Mwai Kibaki, so that when the industrialization brought by Mwai Kibaki was over, Jua Kali died, but yet they have thrived. Kenya Association of Manufacturers continues to thrive.
I don't know why she keeps on blaming Kibaki, man. I don't know why she keeps on blaming Kibaki. He was a puppet like the rest. He was just a puppet like the rest. He was. The major, I'd say personally, the major, maybe, yeah, a lot of things she's saying, yeah. But the major effect that Kenya had during Kibaki's time, trust me, it was just tribalism. Yeah, the country was not okay. Some things, of course, deals were done here and there, you know. But, nah.
Kenya Private Sector Alliance continues to thrive, but Kenyans don't. And third, state capture. State capture is now the entrepreneurs and contracts and PPPs, the people who not only have the money to capture an entire system, from construction to healthcare, to our education system, but more so, even in policy making, the big consulting firms, who owns them, who manages them, so that because they are the ones now who are being subcontracted to be the brains and thinkers on behalf of the people we have hired as the civil servants to deliver for us policies that make us endeavor us to achieve the promises of our constitution, cannot do, because they are being brokered by these consulting firms and the intellectual theft of Kenyans. So, We are going to start this and go through sector by sector. By now, we have looked at the dialectics of Kenya, so we are now going through sector by sector. Because we have said in the dialectics of being an African and in the African gaze, that the Kenyan is existing through two elements, tribalism 2.0, where is the collusion of different political chieftains who have come together to make Kenyans not appear political. Yet, we know that the wound of Kenya, Kenyans amongst themselves, we have been given the political theater of hating each other's tribe, so that we have...
Not anymore. Not anymore. I don't know who had this lady on the tribal level. Not anymore. Not anymore. Tribalism, yes, is there. It is there. I'm not disagreeing. But which generation are we addressing here? Because the youths who are the majority of this country, again, we are the last tribal generation I've grown up seeing. Again. I don't know who hurt you, which Kikuyu, wherever, but fix your tribal mindset, because these talks are they're even getting very disgusting. Every time we hear you're the guys who are trying to bring tribalism as a conversation. It's there, yes, but it's not there. The only people we see having these tribal problems actually are people your generation, people your age gap. Not my age gap. You won't find someone like Shmoni or Christine or myself talking. No, you won't find that. Dig and try, tell me. Which young person have you met them having the time to ask you, which tribe are you from? There's none. None. Point blank. There's none. Because it's a very disgusting conversation. It is very disgusting. And I'm calling it out as it is. I'm not a Kikuyu, I'm not a Luo, I'm a Kenyan, I'm an African, period. That should be enough. End of discussion, end of debate, and don't ask me anything else. Kikuyu, Kibaki, no. And I wonder why people are not even calling out in the comment section, literally. But I will. Since there's no one, I will. The tribalism bullshit, it's you talking about it. The only time you see young people addressing tribalism is when we've seen politicians pushing it. Yes, I've talked about literally these political parties or having different parties. It contributes, of course, to that tribalism, and they want to make us, of course, divided because there's this political party from the Luo, the Luya, the Kikuyu, and every time they're campaigning, they're going to go to this region talking about tribalism. They're going to go, but because they are still the same age gap as you. You see? It's the same age gap as you, your people, your age group who are talking about tribalism. This is not part of our conversation for today. It's not. No.
Spread so much hate. We have lived in so much hate. Lakini tunajua kwa ground hakuna tribalism.
Exactly. Basi mbona una push if you know? Exactly. Hakuna tribalism. Thank you. There's no tribalism. Why are you pushing it though?
Kwa ground hakuna tribalism, but you know what iko kwa ground? Racism. Kenya kwa ground hakuna tribalism. Racism ndio iko. Tribalism only comes when that political theater moment comes, which is political cycles. It doesn't happen. You don't get into a car, you don't get into a hotel, into a car, and you're not served, or somewhere you're not served because you're a Mkamba, ama Mkikuyu. No, we're a customer. But there are hotels, there are places. So how is this? So tribalism 2.0 is now the way Kenyans have been blunted to stop thinking tribe, so that now we can give businesses. The other part of the Kenyan is that we know colonialism extracted, neocolonialism made sure the system remained with those colonial powers that came above the African in our land and taking our resources. And then now it is cleaned up the elite alliance. But we know largely how they benefit. So we are naming names. If this video is not banned, we will name names. We will point fingers because we cannot remain unburdened and closed so that we don't mention the original sin. So let us look at something. Let's start with healthcare. Today, tomorrow, we look at healthcare and the capture of healthcare. Healthcare requires three things to work. It requires healthcare personnel. It requires health facilities. And it requires policy. So, healthcare personnel in Kenya is educated by Kenyans. 15% of our entire national budget is given to schools, universities, and other places to train our healthcare workers. When they leave, they should return that investment to the Kenyan people. But when the healthcare worker in Kenya leaves their training, their internship, they have three options for work. So you can see where even that starts. We never get a return on investment because of this systemic racism that is in the healthcare system. Number one, less than 10% will get into public institutions. This also comes with the lead capture, a lot of bribery and other things. So there has been scarcity created for the worker, and therefore removing all the investment by all the Kenyans, making us suffer for lack of doctors, long queues, deaths, unnecessary, and all this simply because of corruption and the systemic capture of our public health care. The second one, majority are hired in private care. This is where it becomes insidious. Insidious means mbaya, blunder. Here, these ones are dominated by two players. First is the religious institutions, who primarily came from the colonial basis. The colonial missionaries, as they called themselves, had two purposes here: to capture the mind and to spy on the Kenyans, to profile us. And they did that through the rat approach. They bite you and then they blow. So they took our intelligence, they brought those tribal profiles for the British and others to thrive and use that as the blueprint of dividing Kenyans. But then they went to the soft societal issues of healthcare and education. They've captured those because we will see how they make the money. They make the money off the Kenyan taxpayer back again. So these private players are missions and India. The Indian capture of the Kenyan education, healthcare is beyond measure. It needs to be studied because even right now, one of the most thriving insurance packages is medical tourism to take Kenyans to be treated in India.
Yep.
The brain drain, the resource drain, and these are mainly, even most of them, public workers whose money, that private insurance money, private insurance is coming from the Kenyan taxpayer. So tunatoa pesa yetu because in corruption, in systemic racism, in systemic capture, you follow the money. Where does the money of the Kenyan end up? We've seen that only a few, after we educate them, end up in public hospital. The majority are in private, and these private thrive and are financed through private insurance provided mainly by the government and share capitation. Because somehow, yet this is being done by Kenyans, we are unable to fund public hospitals and create public hospitals, but pesa yote inaenda private. And not even that, but we even take the money and the people and everything, denying, defunding, removing everything and taking it, all of it to India. Finally, exporting raw workers. After 18 years of training these people, 12, I don't know how many, I'm just putting a number there. They now go to the developed world to offer them medical care. So the Kenyan is dying. The Kenyan cannot afford, when they go to public, it's defunded. Yet we train them, we grow them, we put them here, we make sure they are educated, they are capable, and they are captured. And if they are not captured to work there under those terms, because you know there is no way the terms of working for private will ever beat the terms working for public care. Because the resource we are looking at is healthcare, and the healthcare worker today is that they go out there to provide, and the Kenyan suffers. And more so, we have a budget, health insurance that now is taken and put into private hands. So the private insurance and the private hospitals.
Yeah. So with that being said, so we also have this one, right? Because she's explaining the system and how the racist system, and I'd say in my words, how it's still very much alive. There's something, this video Keith had shared with me yesterday, and I said we're gonna discuss it today. And of course, yes, we can see that Kenyans are paying, the Kenyan taxpayers still contribute heavily to the pensions of the British civil servants who worked in the pre-independence Kenya. So they're saying that here are the details of this ongoing obligation. There's the split where the United Kingdom pays 75% of the pension for these former colonial employees, while Kenya covers the remaining 25%. The cost, this is the annual financial line. This is Google. Okay, I'm reading this from Google. The cost, this annual financial line item, often referred to as residual colonial era obligation, costs Kenyans tens of millions of shillings on every budget cycle. And then we have the process where the money is transferred from the Kenyan's national treasury. The idiots busy telling us, oh, you know, the white people, they give us loans under terms and conditions, as if they care. Okay. They don't talk about this. They don't talk about this. I didn't even know we pay pensions. And many Kenyans are surprised too, according to the videos I have after this. Many people don't know. Because are we educated about it? Hell no. The money is transferred from the Kenyan's national treasury in sterling pounds to the Crown Agents Bank for distribution. And then we have the controversy where the Kenyan lawmakers consistently keep questioning this ongoing payout. The government and the Public Accounts Committee frequently demand updates, audits, and life certificates to ensure the money does not go to ghost or non-existing beneficiary. But let's listen to this lady.
Do we pay pension? Tommy said we pay pension for people, UK people who worked here during the colonial period. Okay, so some of these lines we need a new book to start.
You know, you guys have taken us to UK now.
For Kenyans in the UK.
So when you hear our expenditure,
Tom
our
said
debt,
no. Not Kenyans, for the colonialists.
No, colonialists.
Who worked here. Those who worked here.
It's something that used to happen.
Or does it still happen?
It's still there's happening. 39
million every financial year allocated to.
Is this somewhere? Is it written somewhere?
Yes.
We are there asking, demonstrating, finance bill. Oh my God. White people. The white privilege, I'm telling you. The white people, the white privilege must be nice, huh? Must be really, really nice to be white, isn't it? Must be really, really nice, huh? Who even does this? Like, how wicked can you really be? How more wicked? Those are long stories. Our grandparents did that. You know, forget about it. This is our old generation. We did nothing.
Joe, real quick. Kerry Busana, good morning. This is absolutely. I do. This all started with Jomo, not no Kabaki. You just continue. These are all African puppets. So I'm trying. You know how sinister this is. Kenyans are paying back white people for their own enslavement. They're playing the same people who were cutting up their balls and beating them and torturing them. These people are dead. There's nobody still surviving from the 50s and 40s. This is Jomo and the rest of these morons who will never fight us. The white man put all this stuff, and this is the stuff that Ibram Traore is taking out that was in Bikini Bottom. I'm like, these white people are so despicable. I mean, this is so criminal. When I seen this, I said, this can't be true. They got Kenyans paying for white people's retirement who were beating and raping them. This today, 2026, all the people are dead. But to even sign this back in the 1960s is absolutely preposterous. This is absolutely this. You the African man, you guys can't be talked upon. You coons are so crazy, and it should have been taken out. Like that's why everybody Kenya's like, what? This is today? This is 2026 in our budget? That's what I was saying. He's like, yeah, every year. So who are you paying? Those people are dead. So they're paying England. This is crazy. But you better believe it. I bet if you look it up, I bet it's in Ghana. I bet it's you think these white savages just put it in Kenya? I know it's in Zimbabwe, all where the British had colonies: South Africa, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ghana, Nigeria, and whatever goofy other ones they had. I can't name all the colonies. Oh, Botswana, and Namibia. So I mean, no, Namibia was the Germans. But anyway.
In Ghana, let me disrupt you. It says Ghana does not pay pensions to the British government or the United Kingdom. However, the Ghanaian government still pays retirement benefits to a small number.
That's what a pension is, Joby. That's a pension. Retirement benefits. Those people are dead. I told you they did it to Ghana. I know it. You think they just did? You think white people just gonna do it to Kenya? They're gonna do it to all their colonies, and I'm surprised they probably hit it. So Ghana's still paying too. You think they're gonna just do Kenya? Are you crazy? All you niggas are gonna pay us to do nothing. Because those people are dead. So imagine, because Ghana got free 5 years before Kenya, they got free in 58. Ain't nobody living. Ain't nobody living from there. They're paying white people just to be. That's the same thing they were doing with France. France had Bikini Bottom, all them just paying money to them. But not, I said, this is the most insidious. It's so, this is why they keep Africans so ignorant. This is crazy. I said, they got Kenyans. Can't afford to go to school, paying school fees and all kind of wicked shit, but they give free money to white people in Europe. So this goes to England's treasury from Ghana, Kenya. I'm like, what? I'm like, I know they're evil. I just didn't met. Every time I think they cannot be eviler, the evil goes so deep, so. Yeah, we're gonna do it with the back of you niggas. So what? We'll keep on doing it. While we pup this. I don't want to like this. Who would sign this? Suppose I'm getting free. I'm signing to pay your people who enslaved me. Mm-hmm. This was your government. Why am I paying your people for a government that was yours, extracting resources out of my country? That was your government. You were the British enslavers. Why am I paying you a pension? At that time, I was fighting you to get free. You were branding me. You were cutting off my penis and beating and whipping me, and I'm paying for that.
Yeah.
This by any other words, you gotta. This is reparations for white people. But this is crazy. But go ahead, try
It is crazy. It's crazy. And that's what I was saying with that lady. She needs to understand her going to Kibaki all the time to Kibaki. This is nothing to do with Kibaki. Kibaki just continued with the same system that was left behind, just like the rest of the African puppets we see. Kibaki this, Kibaki that, tribalism this, tribalism was.
I'm glad you figured that out. It's just a continued system. He just the next puppet in the system, exactly. Because Jomo Kenyatta was tribal as hell. came in trouble.
Exactly.
And the British that taught him that. They told him the British told him to be tribal. So he
Exactly.
so to be divide and conquer rule. So it didn't stop no Kibaki.
And that's why I'm saying again, we have to go. If only we can publicly see the deals that were signed off, despite a glass of wine and some library. We need to see, because now we can see more stories are being uncovered every day. There's always just something that is gonna pop
Millions
up.
of dollars that keep paying white people who dead and stinking now, but it's going to the British government. So Britain is funding their economy freely off of Kenya, Ghana, off free money from Africans. The same shit France did. They still do it now, but the ones they still control, like Cote d'Ivoire and Benin and whichever country they still control. But Ibrahim did the same thing. That same thing happened with Kenya. The French, all white people doing this then because they talk amongst themselves because they're wicked. So Ibrahim Traoré just stopped theirs last year in 2025. And that's what made me find this one. It says Kenya got the same shit. Yeah, like what?
It's really crazy. But let's continue with this one.
39 million shillings every year is going to pay non-Kenyans pension for the work they did in Kenya during the colonial times.
Colonizing us. We are very good.
This is happening as we speak.
Yes, it's true. It's gonna be belief.
By the way, we do not have any problems. We should not be paying more tax.
Exactly. Because again, when we keep on asking, wow, our tax is going high. This is the bullshit. This is part of the bullshit.
That's right, Joe. You wouldn't know. You paying white people not to work.
Reject finance bill, reject finance bill. Look at this bullshit. Who knew this? I bet even if you look at the people who are still the people on the streets and being marching on the streets, if you ask them,
no one would know this. This head out. Who would know? They're not going to tell you that they're paying white people.
It's not in our education. Exactly. It's not in our education. These are some of the things that actually should be taught in school. These are the things we should be taught from the word go.
Think the British education system going to teach you and getting money from you?
It should be taught, if only. Also, this should be part of our history. If someone tried to make a change and it was denied, but we've not seen not Jomo Kenyatta himself, because he's the one who signed the deals, nor Moi, nor Mwai Kibaki, not Uhuru Kenyatta, not the goddamn Ruto who is a president today. None of them have raised a concern about why Kenya still pays these pensions. None of them as president.
Of course not, because the white man told him, you better not ever touch it.
For a glass of wine and some library. It's crazy.
You better not ever touch that. That's even more. So not only are they extracting the wealth out of Kenya, their resources, right? They also got these niggas paying them from tax money. This is so diabolical.
Exactly.
You just need to be given the new budget book. We write it. Salaries. How many workers do we need?
No, sorry. Where is this thing written that 39 million shillings is going?
Girl, please stop acting dumb. I hate these people who are always trying to act. It's on Google. I checked it. It's on Google. You have a phone. You have a phone. You have the internet right there. You're not working in a damn broker's studio unless you are. It doesn't have internet. Do the goddamn research. Do the research right there immediately. See where it's written. It's here. I just read it on Google. We pay 25% of this, and probably even more. Google is probably lying.
That's crazy.
Where is it? Why is this written? Why is this written? Are you kidding me? Trying to look good in front of a white person because she's defending us. That's why we'll continue being oppressed, because you want to act stupid. Nobody knew this. This is some new information personally. I never known about it.
Of course not. The country would erupt. You've been paying people's retirement from the 60s. You've been paying a wicked country. Suppose you got independent. That's like me. Okay. It's like alimony almost, right? So I'm married to Joby, and I got to keep just paying Joby every year. I ain't with this broad. I ain't with this woman. I got broke up with your ass 70 years ago, and you already dead, and I'm still paying your ass every year.
It's crazy, but
And I was an abusive husband. I was beating your ass. Like, I got some stuff or whatever. Like this is mind blowing.
And that's why we need to be careful when some bunch of non-educated white people telling you, oh, you need to forget this history is a long time gone history. If it's a long time gone history, can you maybe tell your grandparents or you being, can you try and do this law? Can you try maybe so we can see you really changed, is the old generation and you're willing to do something different? Can you ensure we don't pay normal pensions? Of course you can't. That's why you had yesterday that we'll colonize them again, like we colonized them. We'll colonize them twice. Huh? You should get a smack on your face. You're talking crazy on my face like that. You're crazy, man. And that's why you see literally the so-called human rights again is mad because the Alliance Sahel state is quitting from all these fake organizations.
So why are they mad? Because the United States is not part. All the rogue countries are not part of it. So all the Arab countries, the Chinese are not part of it, because this is created to keep African puppets under control. If they didn't do their job, they sent them to the Hague to lock them up. And the funny part about it, the white man admitted it in America, said that was, we built that for the black puppets that we had. They're not supposed to be, you're not supposed to put, oh, they said that when they did that with Netanyahu. This ain't supposed to be for white people. We built this for black people. They're the ones supposed to get persecuted by the Hague, not us. Right? So like they said, they walked away. That you got to walk away from all these fake white institutions. The AU, give it all of it. Don't go back to the United Nations. It's all set up for white supremacy. That's what it's about. So no, I'm not. And that's why you see, like I said, why are they focusing so much on the Sahel? Because they're the ones getting free. They're getting out of what we call the system. So now the good, we did the Sahel. Oh, it's human rights. Why are they going to get rid of for shooting people in the street? 2024, 2025, and again, why are they doing Museveni, shooting people in the street? Because those are their puppets, right? Mm-hmm. Shout to Uganda and figure out that Museveni, that same guy said Museveni obviously on his deathbed. That's why his son is trying to consolidate power and act all crazy. I'm going to invade Kenya. I'm going to invade Tanzania. He's talking that crazy shit again.
Mm-hmm. But yes, as we literally wrap it up with today's conversation, we have the right groups of the Sahel. That is the Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali have formally, of course, notified the United Nations of their decisions to withdraw from the International Criminal Court, and the withdrawals are set to take effect in 1 year. The three military-led governments argued that the court has become politicized and selectively applied, and critics said that the move follows growing international scrutiny over alleged atrocities committed by their security forces and broader human rights abuses. And the Human Rights Watch also and the Amnesty International have urged the African Union and the ICC member states to press the three countries to reverse their decisions.
The African Union, you better not let them do it. You better let them, which is a white African Union is a name like NAACP. These are fake names created by white people to control black people. So, so go away, African Union. I'll be about that shit too. That's why you got Ruto now talking about he's trying to pretend he's a pen. The African Union doesn't serve us. It's a fake organization. Because he knows everybody, the cat's out the bag. The African Union doesn't serve us.
Exactly. He doesn't care. Just trying to, justify his actions and being scared to go to jail, but also trying to, be on the same page with Kenyans, or that's what he's trying to do. He's trying as much as he can to
it's called straddle the fence.
Remorse, from Kenyans and love, but it's not working.
It's called straddle the fence. He's trying to straddle the fence by he's on top of the fence. He's got the Kenyan on one side. He's got the white people, the IMF, and the AU on the other side. So that's called straddling the fence. So he's trying to stay. He's not trying to fall in one. He's not trying to fall in with the people. He's not trying to fall in with the white people. He's trying to stay on the fence, pretend like he's neutral. when he's not.
Exactly. But as we wind up short, Jibajaba was earlier saying school milk is how the government subsidizes the farm sector, and another pay off racket. I didn't actually know that, but thank you. And
Yeah.
says Ebonics have different accents, but you are still black. Exactly, man. It's crazy, But
What happened?
says Ebonics have different accents, but you're still black, despite you talking Ebonics.
Exactly. You get, we're gonna talk about that. I'm glad I told people that it must be a church awakening up. Joey hit me with a song, right? I didn't know. You remember Joey we talking about the BT? They say, I don't know these people, y'all know that. And Joey gave me a song. I said, this is absolute garbage. This is good. So now there's a backlash on the internet about this Young Miami and this filthy ass song, which I said it was. I said, what is this shit? And Joey spin that. I'm like, what the hell is this shit? So there's a backlash, and what is it? Because look, that's why you got these goopy Africans talking about that's our culture. No, that's not us. That's the Jays who've taken over our culture and put this filthy nonsense out there. That's why rap has been. I don't think rap can be saved. It's got to be completely destroyed. Wicked, it's evil. It's not us. And then you take some ghetto moron, put some filth in their mouth, and all of a sudden that goes viral. That's not going viral. That's what they're pushing on the algorithm. And got us all looking like we heathens and low budget motherfuckers. All this low vibration, scamming Negroes, scamming this and all that crazy stuff. What is this nonsense? And I said that. And I listened to Joey do the song like, they said, you ain't heard this song? I don't know what the hell you talking about. No, I never. I'm not gonna go search that shit out. And that was, and you know it's listening because as soon as Joey mentioned it to me, that shit popped up on all my timeline. I never popped on my timeline ever. As soon as Joey mentioned that stuff, where's all my scamming niggas at? Blah, blah, blah. Like, what the hell? just like after the Civil War. Yeah, this is crazy, man. We got to take back the culture. We got to shun people. We can't allow this filth to represent us as a people. We got to say, listen here, we got to shut this down. I know our youth are too stupid. They just indoctrinated, but that song, I'm like, what is this? I'm like, what is this, Joey? I'm like, no, this got to go. This is garbage. So anyway, family.
Much love, family. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, I'm broke. You guys send in my cash app. I got paid.
Please, cash app us. We really appreciate you.
I got to pay Joe them a damn broke. Like, God damn, I'm broke as hell. Shit, got no damn money. That's why I had to fire some people. Shit. Why you guys ain't seen Camlish and Spikes and some other people? So I ain't got no money. Shit. This is what it is.
You have a beautiful rest part of your morning, and thank you so much for joining me. Kindly, in case you're gonna be bumping into this, of course, on a replay. I hope you like the conversation. Share with your family and friends. Comment in case you have an opinion based on the conversations you've had. But of course, we're coming back in a few with the Rhythm Scoop as we talk about arts, entertainment, and culture of what is happening within our very.
We'll be back on the afternoon, and I'll be back on the night. I'm at the house, so we'll be back on 12 o'clock Eastern time, 1 o'clock Eastern time, and 12 o'clock Central time. So, and then we're gonna talk about this Young Miami and the destruction of our culture.
Yeah, and then sure you're spending that shit. But much love, family. Beautiful morning. Peace and out.